Hello, once again, back with a little update. I have been showing me updating my compound walls. I started out with just structures similar to what you see here in these gates, and I wound up with these vaguely Indian/Native American looking posts because they were more sturdier. I've always wanted to go down the pioneer route, if you will. So what I'm going to do today is show you the entire building process. I started replacing my walls last night, but I thought, well, let me show this from the very get-go. So I stopped, and I will show that. But I also wanted to show you that, as you can see, it is winter, and there is snow on the ground. This blue icon here denotes winter, and right now it's 0 degrees centigrade or Celsius. Another thing you will see is I've planted a lot more trees. As I scroll around here, you can see a lot more trees out there. And back over here, I've planted trees also, but they're just a little younger. These are aspens. These are the Douglas fir, and these are the 3 original that I've had, the first 3 that I got to plant. I've been told it takes approximately 2 weeks, 14 real-world game days for the trees to mature, so that's why those 3 are still there. Hasn't been 2 weeks yet. Now, you can also see, in my last video I said I got an allied tribe, and I was fishing for him, and I was able to get him to craft me some gear, i.e. clothing, that buffs, and I hate using that word, but as a sorry, I see something walking outside my gate. As a forester/logger, I need high spirit. So this gives me high spirit and high fortitude. And I'm not real fond of the look of it, but you know, that's minor, I guess. There's not very many. I didn't like any of the options I had, let's put it that way, but this was the least offensive to me, I think. But it's good gear, and I do appreciate him. I fished for him. He told me X amount of time, and I did double that time because my fishing skill was much lower than his. So what it would take him to fish for a certain quantity of fish, it would take me at least double, so that's what I did. At any rate, here we go. So what I want to do, the new item that I can build, which is under architecture, it's called a Pioneer Tri-Post. Okay? So I can see right off the bat that it needs a long wood post, a chisel, and a hammer. Alright, so we'll go over to woodworking, find out what does it take for a long wood post. Okay? It takes a saw, a knife, and a long log. Okay, well let's go get a saw and a knife. Or I could simply make a saw and a knife. Just going to show that process. The easiest one that I can make is a forager's bone saw. I'm sorry, a forager's saw. Here's a pioneer's saw, which I prefer the pioneer's route. I like the look of their equipment and buildings. Now, I could make this. I could use the screws, the old saw blade, and the small wooden handle. But for the purposes of this, I'm going to say I've already done that, and I have, actually. So open this up, and I need a saw, which is right here. Now you notice that saw has moderate low durability. It's 1, if you can see that, it's 1 of 35. So I'm going to go ahead and take a second saw also, because I know after just a use or two, this one's going to break. All right, and I also need a hammer. And I've made a hammer. Here's a hammer, and it's high enough quality that it will suffice for what we need to do. Okay, so the chisel and the hammer and a long wood post, that will get me the tri-post. Now back to the woodworking. Long wood post, that's where I need the saw and a craft knife. Forgot about the craft knife, which I have one right here. Alright, so you can see this takes a little planning. Unless you do it piecemeal, I suppose, which is probably what I have been doing. Now what I need to make a long wood post is a long log. which means that I've got to go out here and chop down a tree. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to use this one. I have to get an axe in my right hand and face the tree, and then click on the logging action. Character will start chopping down the tree, of course. Now, I'm uncertain how many logs this is going to yield because they haven't reached full maturity, but for the purposes of what we're doing here, I only need just perhaps one. Well, I'll need more than one, of course, but I'm just illustrating how this is done. Excuse me. Timber. Okay. Then it does say a long log. When I right-click the tree that I have felled, you get options for small or large. In this case, I want large. Okay. It gave me 8 logs. Alright, so I'll take one log. Notice I've got it here on my back. Right-click it, which sends it into the scheme. And then I need the craft knife and the saw, so I'll right-click both of those. And then I click on craft. Takes that long log. You can see now in my inventory on the right, it's now a long wood post. And the long wood post is what I need to make the Pioneer tri-post. Alright, so now I right-click the long wood post, put it into the scheme, the architecture scheme that's here. And it also needs a chisel and a hammer. So I right-click. I forgot the chisel also. Typical me. Let me run over and grab a chisel. Once again, kids, do not run with an axe in your hand. Here's a chisel. Get the one that's already got some quality loss on it because I've used it. Alright. Now let's add the chisel and the hammer. I actually want to stop that because oh my god, you're not going to believe what I just did. I just unlearned that. Oh no. Look, I've started already. The Pioneer tri-post. And I thought I was clicking cancel and I clicked on unlearn. Oh my. That is very unfortunate. I was not paying attention, was I? Oh geez, I have no idea how to get that back. I don't think I can. Let's see if someone is selling. Oh wow. I cannot believe that. You have no idea how difficult that was to get. Tri-post. Nothing. Okay. Well, so much for what I was going to do with this video. I think if I was... Oh man, that's devastating actually. I'm gonna stop the video because I actually don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if I can purchase that from someone because that is very, very devastating.